Hello to the next episode of JavaCasts. This time I want to show you how to get Spring Cloud, a cloud system with Spring. So what we will build is like this area. So we have some services that they can talk to each other, and they have a centralized configuration that can change, and they find each other via a service lookup. And at the end, there's the reverse proxy that is the main entry point for anybody who wants to access these services. So let's start with the configuration service. So I already have checked things out. So these are all the files that we need. The first thing is the configuration of the configuration server itself. I only define the port, the name of the application, and some additional URL where it can find its configuration. The configuration is fetched via Git itself. And the application itself just consists of a standard Spring Boot application with this main line that enables the config server, and everything else is gotten from the properties of the configuration file. So if I start this now, I then can access this via a URL. I already had this before, so I now already have the URL. This configuration is just in there because I have everything in one repository. So I have different branches, and here's the configuration branch. And this is for the application hello and the default environment. So the configuration is here in the configuration branch. I have here the hello.properties, and here are all the configurations for a hello application. The definitions, the configurations can be put in properties, in JSON, in YAML. Here's an example for YAML and others. We come to the test configuration later. So now we have the configuration service. Let's go on with a service that accesses the configuration. So I wrote a small hello service that mainly just prints out some information. So it's again just two files. This time it's not the application.properties, but the bootstrap properties. That's a special thing if you're using Spring Cloud. This is loaded up front, so you can configure the configure service. So mainly in this configuration, there's the name that you need. The name is needed to ask the configuration for this application, the URL of the config service, and this is just in there because I have everything underneath the configuration branch. And if you take a look at the application itself, it is a Spring Boot REST controller that just gets some value, and if you request the service, it will just return the value. So let's start this up. In the configuration, here, I configured the port to 0. Port 0 means it will take a random port, so you can run many services besides each other. So this one has taken this port. So if I access it, here we have the hello world. Hello world is taken from the hello.txt that was injected in there. So next thing, Oops. Yes, of course. Next thing is the service lookup. And with the service lookup, we can create the reverse proxy that can search where is the hello service and find out, where to do some requests to it. So let's do the discovery. It's again quite similar. We have the application properties. We define a port for it and just some additional information. And if we run it, this runs on port 8085 as I defined. Here's the service. I had this up before too. Okay, but there is no service now. He doesn't know any service, so no instances are available. So we need to give the hello application first the information to register with Eureka. So we need to change something here. I already done this. So what have I changed? I changed a bit on the POM XML. Here, I added the Spring Cloud Starter Eureka. And I also added the Enable Eureka client. The configuration where he will find the client is provided in the configuration it receives from the config server. So here we have in the properties the information. You will find the Eureka server here, and the instance ID will be generated like this. So if we start this, it will take a while and register after a while to Eureka servers. Okay, let's see if Eureka already knows. Yeah, here it is. You find it. You can even click it and get to the info area, but it's mainly empty. But yeah, here it is, the service. Now we can start the proxy. It's again pretty similar. So we have the bootstrap properties that just tells it where to find its configuration. In the configuration itself, there's the configuration for the proxy. It says to bind to port 8080 and to find Eureka at this URL. So we start this. Yes, and the source, of course, is mainly a standard application, and we enable the Zool proxy. Of course, you need to take a look at the dependencies of each project if you want to rebuild this whole stuff. So proxy server runs at 8080. And as we want to access hello service, we call /hello. And yeah, as you've seen, he found it. He did a call for the other hello instance. No, this one was restarted at this point. But now we can check. Well, we do want to start the hello service multiple times. So here I have another version. And I will start with a small additional information. I define an active profile test. And as if you remember, here in the configurations, there's the hello test. And this has a different text. Thanks, neighbors. So if we start that one, it will also register itself to the registry. It started here. Here we have it with the test additional information. And after a while it will be known on the discovery, and the proxy will after a while also run queries. Here we are. And as you see, it will run queries against them one by one. Okay, let's see what we have so far. So we have a configuration service, we have the service lookup, we have a service, and we have a reverse proxy. Yeah, but what if I want to have a service that calls another service? So it's almost the same again. We have some configuration that just tells it where to find the configuration server. And we have the application that Spring Boot application, a REST controller, and we enabled the Eureka client. So he now knows where to find several services. And here we just added the REST template. That's part of Spring. And we told it, hey, please REST template, get me the result for hello. And as it is enabled, as it has Eureka client enabled, it knows where to find the hello request. And it will just add the date format of the current time, of the current date, and return everything. As you see, it called hello world and added the time. And if I call it several times, you'll see it gives the right time again, and it also queries one of the two hello services that are running. And as this intercept service also has the name intercept, we can just call it from the proxy itself with the intercept. And here we are. So like this, we have now the proxy service that calls the service, the intercept, that calls one of the services it finds via the lookup service, and everything is configured by the configuration service. So everything is in here. You can find everything on GitHub. And here, see you again next time. Bye.